There are moments in life when we suddenly feel that everything seems to be connected by an invisible thread, when a small action, a fleeting thought, or a word spoken in anger spreads out and then returns to us in unexpected ways. We often call it coincidence, destiny, or luck. But in the Buddha's teaching, there is a deeper, more subtle truth that encompasses all of these: karma. Karma, in its true essence, is not punishment or reward. It is not a divine judge counting the merits and sins of human beings. Karma is simply the law of cause and effect, the natural law of the universe, operating ceaselessly in every moment of life and consciousness. Every thought, every intention, every action is a seed planted in the soil of existence. Over time, depending on conditions, those seeds will sprout, bear fruit, and we ourselves will reap the results of what we have sown. The Buddha taught that karma does not lie merely in what we do, but more importantly in why we do it. Two people may perform the same action, one gives with compassion, the other gives out of pride, yet their karma is entirely different. One sows the seed of liberation, the other the seed of bondage. Therefore, he urged us to look deeply within, to observe not only the act but also the intention behind it. For it is in the mind that karma is woven, and it is also in the mind that karma can be transformed. When the Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, he saw the nature of karma as clearly as one sees light in the palm of the hand. He realized that karma is not a fixed destiny, but a natural law, the gravitational force of the spiritual realm. Every cause seeks to manifest as an effect, every effect arises from a cause. To understand karma is to understand life itself, the wondrous interconnection between choice, consequence, and awareness. And the good news is that karma is not an unchangeable fate. The Buddha taught that in every moment of the present, we are creating new karma through body, speech, and mind. This very moment, as we breathe in and out, is where karma arises, and also where it can be transformed. Through mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, we can purify old karma and create wholesome new ones. Then, karma is no longer a chain of bondage, but a path, the path of awakening and freedom. In a world filled with outer struggles and achievements, the teaching of karma calls us back inward. It whispers that nothing happens by chance. Everything has its causes, and we ourselves are weaving the story of our lives through countless small choices. When suffering comes, karma does not ask us to blame ourselves, it invites us to understand. When happiness comes, karma does not tell us to cling. It reminds us to be grateful. Through the lens of karma, life becomes a mirror, every joy reflecting a wholesome seed once planted, every sorrow a lesson awaiting understanding. But the most beautiful aspect of the Buddhist teaching on karma lies in compassion. It reveals that nothing is meaningless. Even mistakes, pains, and failures, all are materials for awakening. Every moment is a chance to plant a new seed of understanding. Every mindful act, every conscious breath, is a small flower offered to life. Karma, therefore, is not a burden, but a gentle reminder that we can begin again, right now. To live mindfully with karma is to live with a gentle sense of responsibility, not one born of fear, but of wisdom and love. When we understand karma, we realize that anger hurts us before it hurts anyone else, compassion heals us before it touches another. Karma thus becomes both a map and a mirror, guiding our way and reflecting the path we have taken. The Buddha once said, "Mind precedes all things. Mind is their master, they are made by mind. If one speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering follows like the wheel follows the hoof of the ox. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows like a shadow that never leaves." To understand karma is to understand the creative power of the mind, that the world we live in, whether beautiful or painful, is the reflection of countless thoughts and choices. Therefore, the path to transforming karma lies not in changing the outer world, but in transforming the consciousness that perceives it. This journey, the journey of understanding karma through the Buddha's teaching, is not meant to make us fear what we have done, but to help us realize that everything can be transformed. We will explore how karma shapes our lives, how it creates suffering and happiness, and most importantly, how we can transcend that cycle through mindfulness and compassion. When we understand karma, life itself becomes a great teacher, and every experience, no matter how small, becomes a step on the path of awakening. The story of karma, ultimately, is the story of consciousness learning to see itself, learning to understand that every condition arises not to punish, but to awaken. It is a story of responsibility, transformation, and freedom. For when we realize that karma does not happen to us, but through us, that very moment we begin walking the Buddha's path, the path of wisdom, compassion, and liberation. When the Buddha discovered the truth of karma, he did not speak of a system of reward and punishment, but of the natural law that governs all existence. Just as water flows from high to low, and fire always seeks dryness, karma operates according to the nature of cause and condition. It needs no judge, no record keeper, because every action, every thought, has already left its own imprint in the stream of our consciousness. That stream of mind, through countless lifetimes, is where all that we have planted is stored and continued. In Buddhism, karma is divided into three fundamental types: bodily karma, verbal karma, and mental karma. Bodily karma consists of actions performed through the body, such as killing, stealing, or sexual misconduct. Verbal karma is created through speech, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, or idle chatter. Mental karma refers to movements within the mind, greed, anger, and delusion. Every thought, word, or deed is a seed sown in the field of consciousness, and all will bear fruit when conditions are ripe. The important point is that karma is not fixed. It does not bind us forever to suffering, if we know how to see and transform it. A single wrong action in the past does not define our entire being, just as one drop of dirty water cannot pollute the whole ocean if we purify our mind day by day. The Buddha taught, there is no karma, however heavy, that cannot be transformed through mindfulness and wisdom. To understand karma, one must first understand the mind, for the mind is the root of all karma. If the mind is wholesome, actions are wholesome; if the mind is defiled, actions bring suffering. When one acts with a kind heart, even in adversity, one can still remain peaceful. But when one acts from anger, even if the outward result seems favorable, true peace will never be found. Karma does not only manifest in what we see, but also in the subtle energy of our intention behind each act. The Buddha distinguished three main kinds of karma: wholesome karma, unwholesome karma, and neutral karma. Wholesome karma consists of actions, speech, and thoughts arising from compassion, wisdom, and selflessness. Such karma brings peace, happiness, and the expansion of consciousness. Unwholesome karma arises from greed, hatred, and ignorance. It generates suffering, fear, and bondage. Neutral karma is neither good nor bad, but if mindfulness is absent, it easily becomes fertile ground for ignorance to grow. The miracle is that in the very moment we recognize an unwholesome karma, the seed of transformation is already planted. Mindfulness is the light that makes darkness fade. When we see anger arise within and do not act upon it, we are transforming karma. When we choose silence instead of responding with harm, we are transforming karma. When we understand that another's suffering is also our own, we are planting new seeds of goodness. Karma does not only affect the present life, but also extends across the three times: past, present, future. Past karma is what we have created, which may have already ripened or is still waiting for the right conditions. Present karma is what we are creating right now through our thoughts, speech, and actions. Future karma will be the result born from what we are doing in this moment. Understanding this, we see that the present is not merely the result of the past, but also the cause of the future. Right now, we are writing our own future through each small thought. The Buddha once gave the example of a handful of salt. If we put a handful of salt into a glass of water, the water becomes too salty to drink, but if we put that same salt into a large lake, the saltiness disappears. A narrow mind is like the small glass, just a little karma can cause immense suffering. But a vast mind is like the great lake, even with karma, one can accept, learn, and let go. Therefore, the practice is to expand the heart and mind so that karma no longer has the power to control us. The practice of transforming karma begins with mindfulness. When we live with awareness, we see clearly each thought and emotion arising. Each time we recognize without being carried away, we cut off a link in the old chain of karma. Next is compassion. Loving kindness helps dissolve unwholesome karma through wholesome actions, replacing hatred with understanding. And finally comes wisdom, realizing the impermanent, selfless nature of all phenomena, so we no longer cling to the outcomes of karma. When these three elements, mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, merge, we enter the true path of transformation. Someone once asked, if karma is inevitable, why should we practice? The Buddha answered, because karma is cause and effect, practice is the planting of new causes. No one can erase old karma, but we can create wholesome karma strong enough to cover and gradually weaken the unwholesome ones. Just as darkness cannot exist when light appears, unwholesome karma cannot ripen when our heart is filled with compassion and wisdom. When we understand karma, we stop blaming life. We no longer accuse others, fate, or unjust circumstances. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, we begin to ask, what can I learn from this? In that very moment, karma is no longer a chain that binds us, but a teacher guiding us toward awakening. Karma, after all, is the flow of learning. From ignorance to wisdom, from suffering to liberation, everything unfolds within the law of cause and effect. When we plant the seed of understanding, we harvest peace. When we plant the seed of ignorance, we harvest suffering. Yet whatever we have sown, we always have the freedom to choose again, right now. That is the greatest blessing the teaching of karma offers, that the path to liberation is not somewhere far away, but right here, in each breath, each choice we make. And when we truly realize this, our hearts become light. For we understand that no one punishes us, no one rewards us, only our own mind is creating our world. Each wholesome act is a step toward the light, each moment of understanding is a door opening to freedom. Living with this awareness, we no longer fear karma, but feel gratitude for it, because it is karma itself that leads us to the path of awakening. When we look deeper into the nature of karma, we realize that it is not merely the accumulation of actions, but the formation of the entire stream of consciousness. Every moment, every arising thought in us generates energy. That energy does not disappear, but remains within the mind, like ripples quietly spreading, merging into the vast ocean of existence. That is why karma does not belong only to one person, but is the connecting thread between all living beings. A word spoken in anger can awaken countless sufferings in others, and from that pain, new actions arise, new karma is created. Likewise, a compassionate act can radiate healing energy, touching and transforming many hearts. Thus, karma is not a personal affair, it is an intricate web of causes and effects in which everyone is connected, whether we realize it or not. When we understand this, compassion naturally arises within us, because we see that no one is truly separate from anyone else. To hurt another is to harm oneself. The Buddha once said, if you want to know your past life, look at your present life. If you want to know your future life, look at your actions today. This saying is not meant to instill fear, but to awaken responsibility in every breath. Each action today, no matter how small, carries within it the energy of the future. The way we speak, the way we listen, the way we see the world, all are writing the karma of this life and of lives to come. Karma, therefore, is not judgment, but the truest reflection of our consciousness. If our mind is filled with doubt, anger, and selfishness, then the world around us will mirror exactly that. But if within us there is understanding, forgiveness, and peace, the world will also become more gentle. It is not that the universe has changed, but that our perception has. Someone once asked, if karma is the law of cause and effect, why do good people still suffer while bad people seem to prosper? The Buddha explained that karma does not ripen according to the human sense of time. Some karmas bear fruit immediately, while others take years, or even lifetimes. A wicked person may now enjoy comfort due to the good karma of a past life. But when that merit is exhausted, unwholesome karma will begin to manifest. A virtuous person suffering today may be paying off old karma, so that peace and freedom can blossom later. Therefore, we should not judge life based on a fleeting slice of the present, for cause and effect run far deeper than what the eyes can see. Yet karma is not merely a chain of consequences to be passively awaited. The Buddha taught that right in this very moment, we can redirect the flow of karma. When a river runs swiftly, even a small stone dropped into it can alter its course. Likewise, each wholesome act, each kind thought, each mindful moment is like a stone cast into the river of karma, changing its direction. With persistence, that river can become calm and clear. To transform karma, Buddhism teaches three paths of practice: morality, sila, concentration, samadhi, wisdom, prajna. Morality is the foundation, helping us live rightly and avoid creating unwholesome karma. Precepts are not rigid rules, but gateways to freedom, for when we live with integrity, the mind becomes peaceful. Concentration is the stability of mind, preventing us from being swept away by thoughts and emotions. When the mind is concentrated, we can observe karma without identifying with it, like someone watching clouds drift by without being carried away. Wisdom is the light of understanding, the ability to see the impermanent and selfless nature of all phenomena. With wisdom, we no longer cling to the results of karma, for we know that everything arises through conditions, and there is no true self that suffers or rejoices. Those who understand karma no longer fear it, because they know how to live with karma without being enslaved by it. They accept what comes, without resentment or avoidance, and learn to look deeply to transform it. When suffering arises, they do not ask, "Why me?" but, "What is this trying to teach me?" In that attitude, suffering becomes the teacher, and karma becomes the lesson through which the heart matures. There is a story in the Dhammapada about two prisoners. One kept staring at the iron bars, lamenting his captivity. The other looked up at the sky, saw the moon shining, and felt at peace. They were in the same prison, but their karma was different, because their minds were different. Karma is not only external circumstance, but the way we respond to it. When the mind is bright, everything becomes an opportunity for awakening. In daily practice, we can recognize karma through small habits. Each time we lose our temper, we are creating the karma of anger. Each time we lie, we are creating verbal karma. But equally, every time we choose forgiveness, speak with kindness, or remain silent when needed, we are planting seeds of goodness. Practice, therefore, is not about doing great deeds, but about small, consistent choices that gradually reshape the energy of the mind. A person who understands karma no longer clings to merit or sin, gain or loss. They simply sow wholesome causes quietly, without expecting results or rewards. For they know that good karma not only brings blessings but also nourishes wisdom and compassion. When actions arise from purity, whatever the outcome, peace follows, for they have lived in accordance with the Dharma. And then, when the mind is completely awakened, when it no longer clings to good or evil, gain or loss, karma itself dissolves. Not because karma ceases to exist, but because there is no longer anyone to receive it. The mind becomes like a clear mirror, reflecting all forms, but holding on to none. There, cause and effect still operate, but no longer as chains. They become the music of the cosmos, which the awakened one simply smiles at and quietly listens to. To understand karma, therefore, is to understand oneself. It is to realize that no one can truly save us but ourselves, and no one can truly harm us except our own mind. When we act with mindfulness, speak with compassion, and think with wisdom, every moment of life becomes a step on the path of liberation. And along that journey, we come to see, karma is not destiny, but an opportunity to awaken. When living mindfully, every thought, every action becomes a gentle response to the universe. No more struggle, no more resentment, we simply live fully in the present moment, where karma is transformed and peace begins to bloom. When the Buddha spoke about karma, he did not merely refer to external actions but guided sentient beings to look deeply into the subtle movements within their own minds. For it is precisely there, in thoughts, in emotions, in hidden tendencies, that karma is born. A word, an action, or even a fleeting thought is a seed planted in consciousness. It does not disappear but lies silently, waiting for the right conditions to bear fruit, like a seed resting beneath the soil, waiting for rain and sunlight to sprout. People often think karma is something predetermined, like an unchangeable sentence. But in the Buddha's teaching, karma is not destiny. Karma is the natural process of cause and effect, the unfolding of all phenomena. We are not bound forever by our past deeds, we always have the capacity to transform karma in every present moment. When we live mindfully, aware of each thought that arises, in that very instant, the wheel of karma begins to shift. Someone once asked, if everything is due to karma, do we still have freedom? The answer lies in the profound vision of Buddhism. Freedom does not mean escaping cause and effect, it means understanding it. When we understand karma, we no longer blame circumstances, nor do we fear or run away from what happens. We realize that, in each action, each word, each breath, we are writing the future of our own lives. Freedom is not the rejection of natural law but living harmoniously within it, knowing how to plant seeds of goodness to harvest peace and wisdom. Imagine the mind as a vast field. Each thought, each word, each deed is a seed. When we plant the seeds of anger, doubt, or greed, we prepare to harvest fields of suffering. But when we plant the seeds of compassion, letting go, and understanding, then no matter how difficult the outer world becomes, flowers of peace still bloom within. Karma is not punishment but reflection, it mirrors our inner world in the form of our outer reality. Many people only remember karma when they suffer. They say, perhaps my karma is heavy. But if we look deeply, we will see karma is not only what brings suffering, it is also the path leading to enlightenment. It is through pain that we learn patience, through loss that we learn impermanence, through heartbreak that we learn to let go and love. Without karma, without suffering, no one would ever have the motivation to awaken. Thus, karma is not an enemy but a silent teacher guiding us back to ourselves. One of the Buddha's deepest teachings is, we are the owners of our karma. No one else is responsible for what happens in our lives. Whatever conditions we are born into, with whatever limitations we face, it is our attitude, our understanding, and our way of living in the present that determine the future. Karma does not imprison us in the past, it opens the gate of transformation, if we step through with mindfulness and wisdom. Some are born into hardship, yet rise to greatness, others are born into abundance yet drown in sorrow. The difference lies in attitude, in the ability to understand and transform karma. The wise do not run from karma but face it directly, embracing it with compassion. When we accept that everything happening to us is the fruit of seeds once sown, we no longer blame others, nor do we fear. Then karma becomes a lesson, a path, a light that guides us through the darkness. In meditation, the Buddha taught us to contemplate karma in each breath. When we breathe in and know we are breathing in, that is wholesome karma. When we speak truthfully, act with kindness, that is wholesome karma. When we can pause before anger and not let it drive our actions, that is transformation of karma. Every mindful moment is an opportunity to plant new seeds, to free ourselves from the cycles of ignorance and reaction. Karma is not only the past, it is the present being created moment by moment. Therefore, it is never too late to begin anew. No matter how far we have strayed or how much negative karma we have created, one single moment of awareness can change the entire direction of our path. Just as a small lamp can dispel darkness accumulated for 1,000 years, one instant of understanding and compassion can dissolve immeasurable old karma. Many think the phrase, sow good seeds, reap good fruit, is merely moral advice, but in truth, it is a fundamental law of nature. The mind is the root of all things. When the mind is filled with love, the world around us softens. When the mind is filled with hatred, the world hardens. Understanding this, we realize that karma is not somewhere far away, it is the very life we are living, the very mood we carry, the energy we radiate to everyone we meet. And then, when we truly understand karma, we no longer wish to judge anyone. Because we see that each person is walking their own karmic path. Some are reaping fruits, some are sowing seeds, some are learning how to stop creating more suffering. Such understanding makes the heart humble and compassionate. We no longer crave victory or punishment, we only wish that all beings may be at peace, knowing that we are all together in this vast web of cause and effect. If we open our hearts and see, we will realize that karma is not a chain binding us, but a doorway to freedom, if we step through it with awareness. Then we are no longer dragged by karma, but become its master, steering the flow of our lives with mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion. That I and the depth of the Buddha's teaching, karma is no longer something to fear, but a doorway that opens to wisdom. When we truly understand the law of cause and effect, we no longer ask, why is this happening to me, but begin to see, what is this trying to teach me? And in that very shift, the mind is liberated. No longer resentful or blaming. We learn to live with a heart of compassion and gratitude, even for our pain. For sometimes, it is through our deepest wounds that the light enters. The Buddha once taught that no one can escape karma, yet anyone can transform it through awakened awareness. When we begin to observe our mind, to see each small reaction, each thought arise and dissolve, we are gradually stepping out of the whirlpool of ignorance. Each time we choose not to be angry, each time we choose to forgive, each time we choose love over hatred, we are creating new karma, the karma of understanding, the karma of liberation. This path does not require us to abandon the world or perform grand acts. It only asks that we slow down, listen to ourselves, and look at others with compassionate eyes. When we truly touch the truth that everyone is bearing their own karma, we no longer wish to hurt anyone. Instead, we want to help, even if only with a smile, a kind word, or a gentle act filled with good energy. These simple gestures are in fact the seeds of wholesome karma, the quiet power that can change the world. In every breath, we are planting seeds. In every choice, we are creating karma. And in every moment of awareness, we are freeing ourselves. When we deeply understand this, life no longer feels like a series of random or unjust events, but becomes a continuous flow of learning and growth. Every joy, every sorrow, every person who comes and goes in our life, all are parts of the journey guiding us toward awakening. Looking back, we see that karma has never been a burden. It is simply the truest mirror reflecting ourselves. If we wish to see a better world, we must begin by making our own hearts gentler. When the mind is calm, our actions are wholesome, and the fruits will be good. When the mind is clear, no matter how winding the road may be, it still leads us to peace. One day, as we sit quietly in the midst of life's turbulence, we may suddenly realize, karma is no longer something to fear, but something to be grateful for. Because through it, we learn humility, patience, and love. Through it, we come to understand the value of each action, each word, each thought. And through karma, we discover what true freedom means, not the freedom to control life, but the freedom to understand and accept it with a serene heart. When we understand the nature of karma, we no longer ask, "Do I deserve this?" but gently smile and say, "This is what I need to learn." And when the lesson is learned, that karma dissolves. There is no need to run away or to pray for escape, only to understand, to accept, and to act with compassion. If one day you feel lost, caught in the cycle of pain or resentment, remember this: just one moment of pausing and breathing is already the beginning of new karma. Let your mind become the source of peace, and from there, let it ripple out through your words, your actions, your every step upon the earth. Karma is not the universe's punishment, but its gift to those who are willing to learn. Through karma, we discover the path back to ourselves, where peace is no longer something to seek outside, but something that has always been present within each breath, each heartbeat of an awakened heart. And if you are on the journey of exploring Buddhist teachings, learning about karma, transformation, and the path to peace and enlightenment, join us in listening, reflecting, and sharing. Each lesson, each story, each moment of pausing to hear the Dharma is a wholesome seed being planted in consciousness. Share your reflections below. What aspect of karma's teaching speaks to you the most? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so we can continue this journey together, a journey toward greater understanding, compassion, and inner freedom. Karma explained through Buddhist teachings. A journey into the essence of cause and effect, where we learn to plant the seeds of mindfulness and harvest the fruits of serenity.